All right, I'm gonna post on social real quick. All right, can you hear me? Everything good?
Yeah.
Thumbs up. You want me to go ahead and get started?
Yes.
All right. Well, good. If I say afternoon, is that like not West Coast considerate, because it is absolutely 1 p.m. here on the East Coast.
It's totally fine.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm really, really excited to do Queercore today in this way. I have been making music for almost 10 years, and I learned at the beginning that as a queer Black woman that I didn't always fit into different spaces, and so Queercore was birthed from that experience. So I'm gonna turn my camera around and share my screen with you as I do some of my storytelling. I'll be switching back and forth between that and the music, but I'm just really, really excited to do this today. All right, go with the fancy technology. All right, we got a good shot right there. So welcome to Queercore Behind the Music. This is about storytelling and visibility. I learned early on, like I said, that people didn't want me to be in the room and didn't want to hear what I had to say. And so it became really important for me to create a space for us. Who are we? What does that mean? For me, it was first and foremost as a queer woman of color. And now it has been about opening doors for conversations like Queercore with other communities. We've been branching out and talking with spiritual communities about ways that they can be more inclusive and part of activist movements. And it's been really awesome to work with them. And also just kind of me sharing stories as a way to highlight things that I've overcome while also giving you a roadmap and inviting you to share on your own. So Queercore usually works like this. If we were live, I could be in a auditorium, we could be in a small room, and we could be any number of places. And what I usually do is travel with my co-facilitator, Jay Little. Jay and I have been friends for, I don't even know how many years. They introduced me to my wife, which is awesome. But Jay and I share a little bit about how we got here today. We open with our stories and usually do a round robin. After the round robin storytelling, we have an open mic and invite folks. So there's usually a sheet somewhere in the room at the very beginning where we invite students and people to come sign up. We've had poets, people will play my guitar. We've had comedians. We've had storytellers. We've just had people who had no art to share, but just felt really moved to share in the conversation. So that's always been great. And then at the end, we have a Q&A kind of helping us share stories about how we navigate these different challenges. A little bit about me. This is a picture from about 10 years ago. My hair does not look like this, as you will see shortly. It might again, though. I kind of like the curls. My wife keeps telling me that I look like a baby and I need to take new pictures. So my name is QueenEarth. I'm a singer-songwriter at my heart, but I wear many hats. And what I've learned is that in being pushed out of other businesses or companies or organizations is that I've also used my time while I was there to get a roadmap and share it with folks like myself who don't always have the same opportunities. So I really started my career in higher education and education and residential life. I went to boarding school. I was an RA in college. I was a hall director. I've been a graduate hall director. One of my dreams used to be to live at boarding school, but I decided, you know what, that might not be for me. So when I stepped off campus, I realized that one of the greatest things I could do was build community, because it was my job to throw parties, make sure people were having fun on campus and do programming and talk about, as we called it, multicultural affairs. So when I stepped off campus, I realized that I wanted to continue doing music and education, and Queercore is a great mix of my passions in one little presentation. So real quick, I don't know how many people we have in the room. I wanted to take a live poll, okay? This is tricky. I'm gonna try to explain it to you. So pretend like my phone number is 22333. You're gonna wanna pull out your cell phones. Your number, my number is 22333. And before your response, you're gonna type QueenEarth 546. Again, my phone number is 22333. And before your response, in your whatever you're about to write, before that, you write QueenEarth 546. So we're gonna give this a couple of seconds, and I'll wait for the moderator to give me a thumbs up and be like, no one is responding. Or maybe they are, and we're just having this really awesome conversation. But we gotta move on. Let's see what happens. This is a really cool tool that I use for presenters or other people who are doing presentations in the room. We're good? No questions? Questions? Or we're not sure? Because it's live. They'll come right up on the screen. It was a big thumb on my screen. I don't know if you guys saw that. You want me to roll? Cool. I'll push forward. All right. Well, if you ever need to do a virtual presentation, I highly recommend Pull Everywhere. They are not paying me. All right. Queercore started at a farmer's market. So I was working in higher ed on these college campuses, really enjoying all of the students and the fun and the programs, but I realized that it wasn't for me because I wanted to figure out what it meant to live like outside of a bubble and in a different kind of world. So I started playing music, and one of the first places that I found that I liked to play was farmers markets. Farmers markets are chill. Everybody's like relaxed. It's in the morning. Nobody's really rushing. It's not like going to the grocery store. It's just an awesome thing to do. Go and touch and look at all the vegetables. And I remember learning early on that it was my favorite place to play. I didn't like playing at bars and restaurants. Why? I don't really play super fast music. It's late. People are drinking. They're asking me to play songs that I have no interest in playing. But I didn't mind the money. So I learned that I had to do business in two ways. I would send farmers markets a video of me singing Dixie Chicks, and I would send bars a video of me singing Eminem, because that's what they want to see. But then I realized that this was pretty cool. This was important for marketing. I'm learning how to do business. So a woman calls me. She says, hey, I love your voice. I saw that you're doing a farmer's market tour this summer. We'd love to have you at our farmer's market. I'm like, sweet. Let's jump on a call. So I call her, and she says, I really love your voice. I think you'd be a great fit for our market, but I'm not sure I just want to make sure that the content is family friendly and appropriate. And I'm like, what is this woman talking about? I'm like, oh my gosh, did I send her a video of me singing Eminem instead of the Dixie Chicks? I'm like, oh, I messed up because I'm like confident. I'm learning business. Oops. No, that's not what happened. I said, was there an issue with the video that I sent you? And she said, no. We're just a family friendly market and we want to make sure everything's appropriate. And I'm like, what is this lady talking about? And then it hit me. There was something going on. And so I said, can you tell me specifically what you mean? She said, well, this is a family-friendly market. And one of the videos you sent me, you're singing a song to a woman. I said, like this, I felt like a light went off in my head and like time stopped. And I can tell you right now exactly where I was, like on the planet Earth when this happened. And she said, you're singing to a woman. So I said, are you telling me that if I was singing different pronouns that I would be able to play at your market? She said, yeah. And I said, then I don't want to play at your market. It was easy. Hung off the phone, click. But this woman was essentially trying to make me invisible, trying to make people like me invisible. And she wasn't asking me to change Marvin Gaye's songs or Usher's songs or any of the straight male artists whose songs I might sing. So why do I have to change my own lyrics, especially if no one knows if it's my song or an original or a cover? But good Lord, how uncomfortable was she that I might sing one letter different and just, make her whole market turn into a rainbow parade? But I realized that she was basically trying to shut doors for me, and I didn't think it was fair. So I realized that I needed to help other people like me and not only continue to play my music and be true to my art, but also to help other people have brave conversations with themselves about who they are and with other people about who they are and why they should be either allowed in the room or given the space to make their own spaces where we can feel safe and brave and learn how to navigate the world together. All right. So imagine if you made your own way. Turn my camera around and play for you. This is what I look like in real life. See, my hair is very different. Imagine if you made your own way. So 10 years ago, when I stepped off of that college campus, I knew that there was going to be a lot ahead of me that was difficult. And today is Friday. So on April 22nd is the 9-year anniversary of me writing a song called What If. I knew that I didn't like where I was at my job and I wanted something different. But I didn't know what that looked like. So I had to lean on faith and just step out on that. But think about being queer Black woman in knowing that where I was safe enough because people knew me and they knew I was gay and they didn't care. But like, what about the rest of the world? Like, what about me also being the only Black person in this space? Like, what would it mean for me to go try to find somewhere else to fit in? So I wrapped that up into this song, and I remember the night that I wrote it. And I can probably find the journal on the page. So this is What If. What if nobody told you how to love, how to live? What if you just did? What if you just did? Suppose nobody told you there was a closet to be in, walls to hold you there, and hearts to genuine. What if, what if, what if you just did? What if you listened to those voices when everyone was away? Suppose nobody told you what to think, how to love, what was dangerous, told you what was safe. Imagine if you made your own way, a trail you would blaze, accuse you of red and blue, bipolar, purple haze. Instead your world is colored in that only for you and the dreamers who can't see because we walk it in our day. Imagination never had to be the stage. For grammar school, we signed a lease for just practice for the games. Entitled that's why I written in my time. Too many one day eyes that haven't done yet. Too many shots I didn't take. What if nobody told you how to love, how to live? What if you just did? What if you just did? What if we can't judge each other by the color of our skin? What if you could look inside my eyes, see the child within? Could we let go of this hatred so we can start again? Stand together, form a movement, let the love begin. I believe this can be. I believe it starts with you and me. Just say what if, just say what if. We can do this, we can do this, come on. What if nobody told you how to love, how to live? What if you just did? What if you just did? Suppose nobody told you there was a closet to be in, walls to hold you there, and hearts to cherish you in. What if, what if, what if you just did? Suppose nobody told you there was a closet to be in, walls to hold you there, and hearts to cherish you in. What if, what if, what if you just did? What if I had a hit? It might be that. Just clapping hands, thank you. I don't know, I've been learning a lot that people are empowered when we are vulnerable and share our stories. So What If was one of my early songs, but I learned that people wanted to hear what I had to say. And at that time, I was making a way for other people by saving room at the end of the song for people to get up and share verses. And I remember one night we had like 14 minutes, and I think 8 people got up, and it was really awesome to be like, wow, I cried when I wrote this song, and I'm being vulnerable and telling people what it feels like not to fit in. But I went back to a place where things made me happy, and I tried to do those things more often. So here I am on my journey, full-time artist, making money on my own terms, paying rent, in a relationship. I'm doing okay. A woman approached me, and she wanted me to write a song for her. And I always think about how the places where I work, there aren't a lot of people like me. And I never forget my Blackness, but you certainly get to be reminded of it the most when you're in spaces, or at least in a negative way, when you're in spaces where you don't look like everyone else. And I found that language was mattering more and more to me because it informed how people saw me. So I had a Queercore with my co-facilitator, and I was using the word slave, and they're like, yo, you can't stop saying that. Like, say enslaved. And I was like, word. And we had a long conversation about why. If I'm a slave, there's no indication that I have a past or a future that is determined by anything other than being a slave. But if I use the word enslaved, it implies that I had a life, a family, and a people, and a purpose way before anybody decided to put me in a cage. And so I think it's empowering to think about where we come from and our legacies that we have the potential to leave behind, just by telling better stories and being more intentional with our words, because those are the things that we pass on. So a woman approached me and asked me to write a song for a podcast. She's a preacher, woman of color, wears the cloth, beautiful spirit. She was an early guitar student. She's like, Missy, she said, I really would love for you to, write a song for my podcast. And I was like, all right, cool. So I kind of, listened to some songs that she sent me and played around, but I had this song come out of me at the time. And I have been listening to gospel for a while. My family's gospel. My family's like church family down south. And I grew up listening to gospel music. And I feel really good to know that there's positive Black music out there. There always has been. But I found myself wanting to listen more to gospel because I was feeling a spiritual call to help people. And a lot of the work that I do today is for activists and spiritual communities. And it's really cool that we're merging. So what does it mean to have the blood of enslaved people running through your veins? And what should you do? And how should you walk in the world? So I made an attempt to write a gospel song called Colored, because that was the name of my friend's podcast. Black women who wear the cloth, till the earth for collard greens. The slave wears a collar around his neck. I took it a little further because I wanted that word to be something, again, that's powerful. If we can take language and make it our own, then why not be empowered? So I'm going to do collar for you. I said before my maker, they are between me and the darkness, always before and after. I stand between heaven and earth. Whose planet? And when they called, I wasn't afraid to answer. Color, color, I wasn't afraid. Color, color, I kneel to pray lessons, lessons, dirt on my face. I kneel between the hardest ground, softest dirt, no empty pursuit, plenty of food, harvest, harvest, color, color. Ooh, color, color, blood of queen, blood of space, out of the darkness, break these chains, blood of queen, blood of space, out of the darkness, break these chains. Color, color, I wasn't afraid. Ooh, color, color, I wasn't afraid. Color. Thank you for the claps. That's really nice. Big old hands just appear on the screen. I love it. Right. So they call me QueenEarth, and it's actually a joke how I got the name. I don't think I've ever shared the story with anyone other than my friends who were there when it happened. QueenEarth was like, it was a joke from the beginning. It always was a joke. I was at an open mic in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is where my family's from, my southern roots, where I get my gospel love. And I remember it was like circa early 2000s, and like at the time I had really long locks, and I was wearing, no, I didn't have locks yet. I was wearing like an afro, and my head up in a scarf. I was wearing like bohemian skirts and tank tops, suns out, guns out. And I remember I was at an open mic with my friend, and I had no intention of performing because I was kind of shy, but I knew that somewhere inside me I wanted to. I wasn't performing yet in college. I still was a little shy, a late bloomer, if you will say. But this guy, I'm also learning my sexuality. Man walks up to me and he says, "You look like Queen Earth." And my friend and I looked at each other and laughed so hard. He says, "You look like you play guitar. I bet you write poetry. You probably do spoken word." He read me like a soothsayer, and it was so weird that some stranger who didn't know me kind of walked up to me and told me exactly who I was, or at least maybe even who I was going to become. And I'm pretty sure he was flirting, but I wasn't interested, but it was just funny. So now I carry this name, QueenEarth, and what does it really mean? QueenEarth is about this person that I am when I'm imagining what I want life to be like. When I close my eyes and dream, I'm often in outer space, and Earth is always where I come home. So I just wanted to share that little anecdote. So I found myself doing a lot more really awesome work and really, really cool jobs. And I remember after about 10 years of being, self-employed, I decided to try to jump back into the real world and get a real job, startup. My resume was looking pretty awesome. And I was like, I think I can do this. I think I can fit in. I used to live in San Jose, California, which is how I actually found out about this conference. And I figured, you know what, I've been in the tech world. I can fit in. I know this. So I had a friend of mine, a Black woman who used to work at Google. She looked at my resume as an artist and helped me learn how to take my creative skills and sell them in a different way and polish up my resume and make this really cool package. Because she's like, "Missy, you make websites. She said, you you do flyers, you write songs, you call people, you think about business in a really cool way. And she said, those are easily transferable skills. And I said, wow, like I never thought about that. But she said, it's not about those tasks for you. It's about this big dream that you have to do something, for the rest of your life. And so if I wanted to be QueenEarth, I had to figure out what that meant and what it meant to operate the business. And so when I got my first real job, I had a supervisor, and his wife was a full-time artist. And he said to me on my first day, he said, Missy, don't stop making music. You'll hate this job. And I'm like, this person does not exist. Like, what white man is telling me that I should continue to be myself at work and everything's going to be cool? He said, if you want to keep making music, you should do it. And he said, let me know how I can help you. Explain to me who he was. He told me that if I wasn't happy at that job, that I wouldn't do a good job and I would hate it. So he wanted to do anything that he could to support me. And that was the first time that I really found an ally like that in my world. Ryan was an amazing friend and supervisor. He told me to be myself at work. Here I am, a queer Black woman. At the time I had locks, and I did not, there was no other Black people at work, and no other outwardly gay folks, queer folks. I didn't know what it was going to be like for me. And he told me on day one that I could be myself. So, and he also asked me what brings me joy. So now when I have an opportunity to work with somebody, I ask them a couple of important questions, but one of them is, what brings you joy? Find that thing for them. And I let them do that. And I know that in that way, I'll have the best teammate and the best collaborations, the best partners possible, because I want them to be happy, whatever work, in quotations around my head, we're doing. So when I got to that job, the first thing I decided to do was that I was going to use an alias. So I'll talk to you about QueenEarth. I've referred to myself, QueenEarth is who I am on stage right now. Missy is what everybody, all my friends call me. We all have different names. But at this job, I knew that it was going to be awkward. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to call myself Melissa. Why? That's my real name. 2, nobody else calls me Melissa. So when I leave this place, I can just wear this hat while I'm here, take it off when I walk home, and I don't have to be Melissa anywhere else unless I'm in trouble or someone is signing a check. So what I did was, I wrote a song about my journey as Melissa. I woke up Monday with an interview, doing okay. Startups, they can't pay right now, maybe one day. If I work hard, dream of the ocean, better sail, grabbing or he said, the checks in the mail. Tuesday nights, stayed up late, 20 applications in. One call back from a team, be the only one with this skin. The good old boys have a box mark trying to put me here. Pass judgment when I walk through the door. It's only fine or if I get smart, shake more hands, dress up well, gonna make it, kid. Jackson Jackson Without Suede, I wouldn't have the time to write these songs. songs. Without Spain, there'd be no stage to play this music on. Something's coming, I can feel it. To you, I'm patient, but I'm long. Don't wanna lose, not fool. Heard a dog barking about midday Wednesday. I don't care. I go outside, Melissa. She says, yes, that's me. What the hell? And I see hard work, long days, hunger, smaller ways, music, long walks. What the hell? Jackson Bell. Jackson Bell. Jackson Bell. Jackson Bell. That was Melissa. My mom tells me all the time that I always make a way and that I'm very resourceful. She said she used to worry about me a lot. She doesn't much anymore because she knows that I'm resourceful. I'll make a way for myself, and I really appreciate that. I'm also F cancer. My mom's dealing with a lot of health stuff right now, so I feel every day like really, really happy that I get to do work that I love because that's what she wants me to do. So I'm thankful to be here today. My mom was a performer. Was a performer. She doesn't sing anymore. But there's pictures of her back in Aretha Franklin's heyday singing Aretha Franklin songs and winning. And I don't chase Aretha with my vocals. Most people don't. You shouldn't. But my mom has a really awesome story about her natural hair, why she wears it as such. And she, as much as she talks about herself in good ways and is proud of all the stuff that she does, she also reminds me how she didn't always feel that way. So finding a way to express herself has always been really important, whether it's in her hair or her voice or her language or the words that she chooses. So one of the ways that I really learned to express myself and the reason why I love Queercore is because it has helped me to create more opportunities for people to share stories and be vulnerable. I think that open mics save lives. I know that I have friends who, without their art, they might not survive. And for us as queer folks who live in a world that doesn't always love us and isn't always nice to us because we're different, I think it's really awesome that we have an opportunity to create spaces like this conference and like Queercore and like an open mic for people to come and feel like they can leave their heart there. And you know what? If they didn't come with the intention to perform, then maybe there's something that they needed to hear that night. And I know that I felt that from both sides of the stage. So in a real world situation, I would do this song to kick off the open mic. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I wanted to share this song that I wrote with you. About 3-4 years ago, I was tapped by someone from Red Bull who is in Baltimore doing a really cool festival. They wanted to pair entrepreneurs and businesses. This was awesome. Baltimore's a great city for art. So they found somebody who ran an open mic. She was the entrepreneur in that instance, and they asked me to be the artist and help her write a song about open mics. This was great because not only was I a singer-songwriter, but also I understood. So me and this artist and open mic host and entrepreneur had a really good conversation about what makes a good open mic. And, you know, it's the space, it's the people, it's the family that we make when we're there. So because they are part of creating this safe space. So this picture is actually a picture from open mic I used to run in Baltimore. It's at a spot called Terra Cafe, best fish sandwich in the city. If you're ever on the East Coast and you happen to be passing through Baltimore, I highly suggest you stop through for a fish sandwich or any number of dishes. They have vegan options too. Terra Cafe is amazing. Almost sang. Didn't face me. Here we go. All right. This song is one of my favorites because I cried when I wrote it, but also like when I play it for other people, like what if it was the first time in about 10 years that I got this reaction from folks who wanted to thank me for like creating a space where they could share, and who also love open mics. They're a big part of the Baltimore scene here. And so I hope that wherever you are today, that if you didn't know, there is definitely an open mic scene. There's definitely a queer open mic scene. There's definitely a poetry open mic scene, music, anything you could possibly think to share. This is much more than an open mic. She sings, she writes, not a room, a business mind, but having dreams of chairs and tables, big mouth speakers, mics and cable. What we had a land of light. The world is dark sometimes, so we sing, we write, we came for night, much more than an open mic. We came kind of for our thoughts. Here we went on mess. We sing, we dance, fall in love. We need a fans, more than followers. This is from we came tonight. Much more than an open mic. We came tonight. Much more than an open mic. They don't say our names when we die, but name us in the fight. And we came to sign our name and to get called in to the light. She has poetry. She cries, she smiles, almost stated tonight. Where I'm from, we say 5,000. Maybe save a life we came tonight. Much more than an open mic. We came tonight. Much more than an open mic. Thank you. Thank you very much for the class. Open mic. Thank you so much for listening to my opening story for Queercore. If we were in a real world situation, this would be the moment where I grab my open mic list, go over to the stage, and we have a Q&A or a discussion. But I can ask my moderator, is there anybody in the Zoom chat who wants to perform or share a piece? Is that like something we could do, or?
Could you repeat that again? Sorry.
It's okay. I said, is there anybody in the room who wants to share a story or a song or anything like that? Or we just kind of, how would you like to proceed?
I don't know. I mean, let's see if people in the room are saying.
Yeah, because I would love if anybody wants to share a poem or a song or a story, we can do that, or we can dig right into the Q&A again. We usually do this live, and there's more than likely going to be folks there who want to perform. But if not, if anyone has any questions, we can jump right into that section as well.
It's not. I guess I have to say something. I really appreciate you talking about open mics. I think, as a queer and trans person of color, like
Yeah.
I always feel like I've gone to quite a few open mics, but I always feel very shy and nervous to be a part of it, because here, specifically in Portland, where I live, it's a very like a white queer space.
Yes.
And it's like most of the time I am like the one of the few people of color in that space, in those spaces. So it's
Yeah.
it was really encouraging and validating to hear you say that. And maybe next time that kind of space, I will share something.
Yeah, it's different online. Thank you for saying that too. I felt like early on, I couldn't share my love poems, and I don't really. I'm gangster. So I don't always write love songs. At the time, I thought I was, but if I did write one, like maybe writing uplifting songs is a way for me to not write about love, and not include pronouns. But I knew that I needed to find a safe place to do that because I couldn't hide forever. So thank you for saying that. It's interesting that every city's different, right? Like I'm in Baltimore, DC, so we're kind of lucky. But I still had to find our spaces versus just the general open mic. When I lived in California, San Jose is, there's not a lot of Black people in that part of the Bay. And I remember learning like what the open mics were doing. And so I would call first. I'm like, hey, I see you guys have an open mic. What kind of music do you do? And they're like, oh, what kind of music do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm a singer-songwriter. I sing, I rap, I play guitar. And they're like, oh, you can't rap here. Oh my gosh. Like, what if it's like happy kids rap? Like, what do you mean I can't rap here? But when someone says that, that is the same as no baggy jeans, right? Who are you trying to keep out of this place by creating these rules? Because I do more than just rap, but if you don't want me to rap in there, I'm assuming that you don't want Black people in there, so I'm not coming.
Yeah,
So
it's a weird form of gatekeeping, and I definitely have felt that in the past. But I'm also like an immigrant, so like that's like a different thing, right? Where
yeah,
I'm like not comfortable with, or like I think I just in my head I'm like, oh, maybe like people like me are not welcome here because I don't see anyone else
right.
here. Yeah, and it was really validating to hear your experience as well.
Thank you very
Too.
much. Thank you. Do you have any questions or comments, or do you want me to finish the slideshow and take us home?
I don't know. It's kind of up to you, unless Tracy maybe has.
It's more like if folks have questions, I'm also happy to,
Yeah.
here's what I'll do. I'll go through the rest of my slideshow, and then I'll hang out and see if folks have any questions. Does that make sense? Love the thumbs up. It's like, what's what you'd like to see. We got the Q&A slide. This is actually my favorite slide because, not this one. This one is my favorite slide. This is simple. But if anyone has any questions, we'd love to do that. But let me give you my exiting information. Again, my name is QueenEarth. I'm a singer-songwriter, amongst other things. I have music available on iTunes, SoundCloud. Just released an EP called Songs for Isolation that's only available on Bandcamp. It's a bunch of instrumentals. I had no words and nothing to say. I was like, we are stuck in the house. And I just started piano lessons. I couldn't leave. So I was like, you know what? I've been learning how to make beats. My wife is a painter. So we decided to get our office in order so that we could have a place to like let out all this stress. So I made a mixtape full of instrumentals, and we've been, writing and doing stuff to them. So that's been really cool. But there's music links. If you like Queercore, you can go queenearth.com/Queercore merch and grab a t-shirt or something. No one's bought anything yet. You might be the first. That's pretty awesome. And then finally, just thank you so much for this Queer Students of Color conference. Like, I think it is amazing that you have this space, because when I'm not that old. But when I was younger, when I was in college, there was nothing like this for me. And it's really cool that we are being intentional when I look at what's going on in high schools and college campuses right now, that we are really, and I say we, meaning as like folks who belong to these communities, are advocating for us to have space and leadership and, you know, to just support each other. I'm so thankful for that. So there's all my information if you want to follow me on social media. We love to bring Queercore to campuses. But other than that, thank you so much for your time today. My name is QueenEarth, and that was Queercore behind the music. My dog is barking like clockwork downstairs. You hear him? He's crazy. But thank you so much. So I'll just hang out with you for a little bit, unless there's like a criminal or something on the front porch, because that's what it sounds like with the way my dog is barking downstairs. Cool. So yeah, if there's any questions or anything or comments, we'll hang out for a few. Other than that, this is awesome. You want to call it? Or you see someone's typing?
Let's see. Nothing yet.
Maybe like Sam Smith's in the thread getting this like piano into
yeah.
it.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, go for it.
What would you say your like favorite part about creating music and sharing it with other people? Or like it can be a couple of things.
I like writing because it's the first place where I encounter maybe like that piece of it. Like sometimes I need to write and I don't know that, or like I'll hear an instrumental that I make that's beautiful, but I want to add lyrics to it. Lately, I mean, above all, like I write for me first, but the second best part is like if people like the song, not because it's catchy, but because it has a good message in it, and it resonates with them. And I just remember when I wrote What If, I was like a year maybe into making music, and I wrote this song and people were like, wow, like that's really powerful. And I realized that I could write a song to uplift myself that could also uplift others. And that is probably my favorite part, because it makes me feel less alone in whatever I was dealing with at the time, but also good to know that other people can have this thing that keeps them going. So.
Thank you for sharing that. Also, I don't have experience creating music or writing songs, but I am just wondering if you, like, if there was a role, like, how do you see yourself in terms of like roles? Like, do you see yourself as an educator, like a community organizer? Like, what title would you give yourself?
I have to pick one.
I mean, there are multiple roles that you're performing, right? So it doesn't have to be just one.
I like to say I am a creative professional. That's my favorite one, because what does that mean? Well, make it a capital C. What does that mean? You know, I like, it's QueenEarth has always been, QueenEarth is education, music, and creativity. So under the education umbrella, like I said at my core, I've always been an educator. I've worked in higher ed for most of my career, and Queercore has been a way for me to continue those relationships. Music, because I do write music and I bring that into the workshops that I do, or even into the stuff that I share the most, right? Like I make instrumentals because why not? You know, we're in a quarantine level apocalypse. I think music's gonna help me, so I'm gonna release it. When it comes to creativity, that to me is the most abstract thing that I do or title, and it is that I offer the consulting for businesses. Like if you are, you know, do you need a logo? I don't do that. My wife makes logos. My friend makes logos. My homie makes logos. I more help people strategize. Like, so if you have content, like what's a really cool way for you to engage with people? I help people teach online. Like right now I work by day. I'm a teaching artist. I work with like pre-K through second grade. I miss my kids so much, but my job is to make them fall in love with music. So what do I have to do? Make beats for them. Let's dance. Teach them the difference between a guitar and a ukulele. That's just a fun way for me to be engaging. So I think that community engagement is a big part of the like education, music, creativity, our QueenEarth, but community engagement, I think specialist is a great LinkedIn title for what I do, because my job is to keep people connected, whether on the ground or digitally. And thank you again for doing this. My wife's like, are you going to do a Queercore online? I was like, I don't know. And the next day I got your email and I was like, yes, we are doing it online. This is awesome. I'm trying to think if I have any questions for you. What is the hardest thing about being a queer student on a college campus in 2020? But you're not on a college campus. So what was the hardest thing about being on campus?
I think Portland, Oregon is just an interesting place. It's a very, like a lot of people who move here, you know, the things that I hear is just this is the whitest city they've ever seen. And there are a lot of like, I don't see a lot of queer and trans people of color specifically. And there's, I mean, there is like some sort of community, but it's a very small pool. And I think also being an immigrant from Kazakhstan, a country that people usually don't think about, it's really hard to feel seen, and I feel like I have to like prove myself all the time, and you know, in like these different ways to like, you know, being like, yeah, like I'm queer enough and I'm trans enough, and like dealing with like xenophobia and racism on campus is it's really difficult, and like trying to like deal with all of this at the same time, and at the same time also explore my own identity has been really challenging. And especially like I don't think that PSU as an institution really has like experiences like mine, the like I don't know, it's just a really interesting experience.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you feel like you have support on campus from like leadership for
yeah,
your
definitely.
identities?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. That's good. So it's more like when you get off campus, it's like different.
Yeah.
That's real. Wow.
Yeah.
This is so cool that you guys are doing like this. Like I can't even imagine, like, because I have a certificate in the pedagogy of online teaching, right? So I'm literally at 3:00 doing a teacher training for my other job, and I was like, I will not be available between 12:30 and 2 p.m. So I'm gonna go eat, walk my dog, come back up here. But I was thinking like, it is so amazing, like all of these tools that we can do, and you know, still be engaging online, but also like I love what activists are doing. The activist work that's popping up right now is pretty cool, that people are like, you know what, these are conversations that we still need to be having. And also like my therapist said something really poignant to me, and I'll probably end with that. She said that like, she's like, Missy, it's really good that you're making music and you know, having fun and being creative. And she was like, but isn't it possible that you could have always been doing these things and now you have to, you know, like, so what does it mean to still prioritize? Because we have to prioritize diversity and inclusion. Like, think about all the money that's funneling out of the arts and out of these really important conversations, because someone who's looking at the budget is thinking we have to prioritize our spending. I think these conversations are really, really important, and I think it's awesome to watch how activists, which I also consider myself, like, I can't speak about queerness and not be an activist. I don't think I can approach my work the way that I do and not be an activist, because I'm doing it with the idea of helping other people and meeting literal activists and action takers and makers who are helping me to like even grow the way that we do Queercore and the people that we're talking to. So the spirit of innovation is like everywhere right now. But again, I can't thank you enough for doing this in this way, and I hope that I get to be on the ground in Portland again sometime soon.
And we hope to have you actually come to Portland and be a part of this conference again. Thank you
It
so
would
much for being a part of this. This experience has been really wonderful and it's really new, and I'm glad we, all got to experience this together.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm like I said, I've been chasing this conference for like 7 years, and so 2020, let's go. Thank you so much. Awesome. I'm gonna sign off, and let me know if you guys have any questions. If you need to get in touch with me, I'm on Facebook. Hold on one second. Let me show you my thank you slide one more time, and then I'm gonna sign off. So, again, thank you all for being part of Queercore today. Oh wait, do we have a question?
Me?
Yes. Are you trying
Hi.
to perform?
I'm sorry?
Are you trying to perform?
No, I just wanted to, I'm the conference organizer, and I just wanted to say thank you for being part of our virtual experience.
Oh, thank you so much. This is incredible. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's so cool.
Cool. Yeah, next year we'll have the in-person, we'll have it, we have the date set, so we were able to, Alkali and I and the committee, we were able to put this together kind of within a few weeks, so I'm just happy that you were able to be part of it.
I was telling my wife, like, this is kind of like, for me, like, doing it like this is awesome, but I also said to Alkali at the beginning, like, I never get to record this because I always travel by myself. And when I do have a co-facilitator, they are a white, genderqueer, activist. And so, like, this conference is not for them. And we had a conversation and talked about it. We were like, they were like, yeah, you should definitely do this by yourself. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. So once again, like, even if I came in person, I was going to be by myself and not have an opportunity or a way to record it. But you guys are like really helping me. So like, whether you even realize